In recent time, for several times, we spoke about the centralization of European Union. And what do proponents say? What is their most important argument? They say that European Union cannot function with this consensus in Council, with this veto option in Council. And they said that we all should develop democracy, that we should understand and respect what majority wants. But so they present it as a development of democracy. But I think that we should consider not what rulers think about democracy, but what people think about democracy. And what do people say? For example, in Croatia, the country I'm coming from, the turnout to European elections is, last time it was something like 30%. For elections for Croatian parliament, it was 64. So double more than for the European elections. So it means that people in Croatia, and more or less it is all around Europe the same, don't believe much in European democracy. So I would say that our democratic legitimacy in the European Parliament of each of us is double less than the democratic legitimacy of the members of our national parliaments. And now, what the proponents of centralization of European Union try to do, now they want to take the power from the Council, in which sit all these representatives of all these governments, so people who have double more democratic legitimacy, and take this power and bring this power to European Parliament, which has double less democratic legitimacy. And they call it the development of democracy. I think it is quite the opposite. Actually, it's decreasing the level of democracy. So the subsidiarity we are fighting for is not just a theory. It is historically proven way of democracy. So subsidiarity should go, and it is important part of democracy. And then, in this lack of democracy, the proponents of this ever closer union organize some, I will openly say, fake projects, like Conference of the Future of Europe. You know, when you look at the sample there, people who were there, it is completely wrong. You know, there was a research in the Netherlands with these people who took part in this conference on the future of Europe. All of them were in favor of centralization of Europe. All of them, for example, were for vaccination against COVID. I don't care what you think about vaccination. I just say that this sample was not proper. You know, because we know that there are people in the European Union who were against this vaccination. So then you had the official press release from the Conference for the Future of Europe, and they say that is for the first time where European citizens could say their opinion in European institutions. And then I thought, first, we as politicians are not European citizens. What is the democratic legitimacy of these representatives in this Conference for the Future of Europe comparing to ours? You know, we got some votes on European elections, you know, so that should mean something. Yeah. So, shortly to say concerning the states, they want to decrease, to reduce the importance of member states, and to merge everything to this one superstate. But this is not the only thing they do. The other thing what they do is maybe even more important, is what they do on social level. Because they want also to reduce nations, peoples, and to merge all of us to one amorph mass of European citizens, as they say. Doing this, they use a few tools. The first one I will mention is discrimination. A lawsuit was filed against me by some LGBT groups, They asked the court to put me in jail for 18 months because, as they say, that I spoke positively about marriage. And by this, they said that I discriminated out marriage and homosexual couples. So what they're saying, you are not supposed to promote your values because there is always somebody, oh, I have to yell. By this, that I discriminate somebody else who don't respect these values. Or mathematically saying, I'm not supposed to speak positively about football because somebody can say, you discriminate basketball. So it is stupid. It is not common sense. But what is the result of this? They want to use this discrimination as a bulldozer, which will make everything equal. That you have... You can know there is no values. So it is promotion of moral relativism. So that is the first tool they use. Then the other one is inclusivity. So Ursula von der Leyen said that we are not supposed to say Merry Christmas. Just for you to know, for me, the most important event in the history of mankind is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. The most important thing for me and my wife and our 6 children is to bring them closer to God, to increase our capability to love, to increase our capability to sacrifice, to live for another one. That is my basic identity. And I'm not pushing this identity. Of course, I will promote it because I think it's good for all people. But I'm not imposing to the left, to the Greens, or I don't know. So they have their freedom. And why I feel very comfortable among conservatives? Because they respect my identity. They will not take this freedom away from me. And that's why I'm here today. And now, when we speak about this inclusivity, I'm really ready, I'm willing to cooperate with all kinds of people. But don't touch my identity. Don't impose certain ideologies which are against this basic my identity to my children. So that's the basic point. I don't want this kind of inclusivity. And then they say that Christian identity is problem for inclusivity. So they say that inclusivity is the aim. And I wonder, maybe not inclusivity is the aim, but inclusivity is a tool to diminish Christian values. What is the aim? So that's the problem, that they mix what is the tool, what is the aim. The third tool they use is equality. So, of course, as a Christian, I respect equal dignity of every human person. Maybe it looks like similar or not a big difference, but I think there is a big difference between equal dignity, equal rights, what I promote, and equality, what they promote. Because, sincerely, equality is a lie. We are not equal. We are different. But we have equal dignity. We have equal rights. But with this equality, what they try to do, first, when we had this debate on, when there was a World Cup, World Cup in Qatar, then they said in European Parliament that we should boycott, that we should not watch this, that I should not wear, I like Croatian football team, I like Dutch football team, okay, French, I don't like that much, but okay. But, okay. And I like to wear this. That's my identity. I like all of you, but I like Croatian football team the most, And then our identity, in which we are supposed to be equal, the final tag is gender theory. And I will tell that openly, gender theory is a lie. It is a lie. For centuries, what makes me a man? The possibility to become a father. For centuries, it was perceived so. And what makes the woman is that she can become a mother. And today,
they say it is not so. But on the other hand, you know, when these transgender persons make some surgeries in then change of sex, do they make surgery on their shoulder or their knee? No, they make surgeries on their reproductive organs. And what is the aim of reproductive organs? It's reproduction. It's exactly what we say, that the being a man is possibility to become a father. So it is so. So I can say the change of sex is a lie. Because of course I can take some hormones, my breasts can grow, I can lose my beard and so on. But finally I will never become a woman with the possibility to deliver a child. You know, so this equality is a final stroke to our identity. And the fourth one I will mention at the end is the rule of law. Rule of law, by definition, I'm speaking about the tools in which they want to merge all of us in this morph mess of European citizens. Rule of law, by definition, should mean that you have some democratic procedures in bringing laws. And then after that, when you have some law, then you respect these laws. And last month, we had a report of Sophie in 't Veld in the European Parliament, in which there was homosexual marriage, fundamental right to abortion, and so on. And if you don't have this in laws, then they say it's a breach of rule of law. I don't see common sense in this, because only if it comes to the law, and there are procedures that it can become, and then if you break these rights, then you can say it is a breach of law. But for example, in Croatia, we had a referendum on which we said a marriage is a union between one man and one woman. So imposing us homosexual marriage is a breach of rule of law, and not vice versa, as they say. So what actually they are doing, they have a list of their wishes, and then they call it the rule of law. The same thing as they have the list of their wishes, which they call human rights. And then they say it is human right, like a spoiled child. I want this, this is my human right. It is not so. You know, so they are misusing European values, rule of law, to impose their ideology to us. Of course, Poland, Hungary, Poland not anymore, because at 7:15, you know, when Tusk got the elections, the rule of law was flowering immediately, in spite of the fact that he entered the news, he came there completely against the law. He said to all these editors, journalists, you are fired, now I will bring my equipe, and so on. So he broke the rule of law in Poland. But now they're just saying Tusk is liberating Poland from peace, you know. So that is the rule of law. Their wish. It has nothing to do with rule of law. Hungary is saving us, to be very honest. When somebody said that we voted for this abortion as a fundamental right in European Parliament, and you know, without any arguments, if they argue that human life begins, that we have to protect human lives, and if human life begins with birth, then consequently they should allow abortion to the very moment of birth. But they don't do this because they know it's quite, let's say, uncomfortable for them to say. Then what? They consider that human life begins in, I don't know, 14th week or 12th week, or I don't know. Tell me, when do you think that human lives begin? But there is no argument. You cannot say, if you say it's your right-wing propaganda and so on. So they will use all possible ways to avoid arguments, just to promote their vision of Europe. And so what I want to say, that this centralization of Europe is not just attack on some form how we should function, but it is direct attack to our freedom, to democracy, to our identity, whatever it is, Flemish, Croatian, French, German, whatever, and especially to Christian culture and Christian culture. So when we fight for subsidiarity, we fight for freedom, we fight for democracy, we fight for our identity, and we fight for our Christian roots. Thank you.
Well, I think that writers as different as Orwell and Chesterton have said that